Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. How's it going? Hope you've all had a great day. We're back finally. We've placed a trade and it's our best winner we've ever had. So we only placed one trade today, 50 shares, and we made a total of 43.51 before commissions. It was actually an 87-cent winner. And it was shorting our first ever stock. So lots of highs, lots of first times today. And still haven't got over the cold, as you probably hear in my voice. Bit drained actually right now, a bit knackered. So so much went on today. There was moments like pre-market, there was loads of action, and I was actually watching pre-market more today than I ever have. So I've been sort of in the market probably an extra hour than I normally am. There was so much going on at the open, then it went completely dead, then there was loads of momentum, then it was dead, then it was. So just so much going on. I won't be able to cover everything, but I will talk about sort of the two stocks, mainly just CLTW, which is the main stock in play, and it's just made a crazy move down again and got halted going down. So just a quick, I won't talk about my trade to start with, but I'll just quickly show you for the guys that just want to see all the history. As you see here, shorted at 9.18, got filled, and then I covered at 8.31, so 87 cent, 87 cent move in total, my best one so far. So let's talk about the stock and let's get into it. So CLWT, I was actually watching this pre-market, as you see here, my trades, which is we'll talk about soon, but I was actually watching this pre-market, and as you see here, from around the 360 area, so say 350 area, made this big move all the way up to basically 850, started to sell off, and then it had this bounce. But pre-market, it made that absolute crazy move there. And one thing that I'm starting to do more is take a bit more time in preparation. And this was the one thing I was doing with CLWT, so I just thought I'd quickly do it now with you so you can sort of see and understand what I'm looking for. So CLWT, this is today's stock, today's candle. Pre-market obviously doesn't show, so you've got to kind of ignore that. But pre-market, this is basically what I'm looking to do. I'm looking at this is the daily chart. I'm looking at previous sort of support, resistant levels, windows, gaps, and this is exactly what I'm doing. So pre-market, we see, I was looking at this stock around this area, which was let's say it's the 590 area, the high of this candle. I think this was where the stock was roughly pre-market at the time when I was watching. So then what I'm doing is just looking at windows and gaps. So if we zoom in here, really easy. First one is the high of day, which is 845. That's the highest. Normally, actually, I'll delete that. What I normally do is I just start from here. So this is the first one. So then I see like a gap here. There's the close of this one. That's the close, 605. Then we've got the close there, 730. So I'm not using the wicks. I'm actually using the actual close prices. And then the close price there as well, 765. And then I'm just using, and then on the last one, I'm just using sort of the high candles, 835, 845. So if they're really close together, I'll kind of use that 845 level. So they're just marking up my levels. I can even do this body candle here just to get an idea of windows. So a window being, so a gap is here. If you see this is gapped, it's an obvious one here. Here's a gap example. So this is where it closed and this is where it opened. So that's an example of a gap there. So just to show you here, in case you can't see, this is where it closed here, and then the next day it opened there. So you see here, there's a gap in the stock. So that's what I'm looking for. And then a window is basically body to body. So there's a window from this candle 605 up to potentially 690. So it's just an idea of getting sort of history of the stock. And then what I do is I go into the I don't know what I'm doing here. I'll go into the sort of the 1 minute candle. I'll go into the 1 minute candle and see where they lined up. So obviously we've had all the action since, but if you see here, pre-market it perfectly. Let's try and look up to 9 o'clock. Let's look at to like 9 o'clock. So then or just before. Yeah, that says 9:23 for. That's just before the open. So as you see here, pre-market. What did it do? It went all the way through. It started to fill these gaps, and that's what you can look for. Then windows and gaps to fill. And you see here, it got close to the 845 area. It come down. What did it do? It touched that window of 690. It made a move all the way up to now 850. So now I'll pretty much delete that, set that new high at 850, and then what do? Come down, touch this gap, this window, and then bounce back up to 850. And this is where, so based on them reasonings, this will happen pre-market, as you see. So based on them reasons, I wasn't looking to long CLWT. It's kind of made all the move pre-market, and that's what we've been seeing. All the moves recently have been making pre-market, and at the open they've been selling off, and then some of them have been bouncing, and that actually happened today pretty much. They made the move pre-market. At the open, when I say the open, the first 5-10 minutes, it just sold off, and then it sort of bounced and got some momentum afterwards. Once it hit this once, so almost once here, twice, and we got this third time. Around here, this second time, I actually located shares to short. I thought I'll give this a try. I'm seeing this is really overextended off the VWAP. It's made a crazy move. Sort of the gaps on the daily, as we see here. You see here, it touched this pretty much this 850. So now this candle here has been sort of close to this one, so it's hit that resistance point, and I thought now this is looking good for a short-term trade, a short bias trade. I actually located the shares, but I never pulled the trigger because I'm still learning, but it sort of had a good reason and a good base behind it, and definitely would have worked. Could have shorted this here. We could have looked to go on this candle here. Let's say we got that consolidation. This is a 50-cent range. Pretty much, so you have the $8 up to the 850. So this candle here, where it made this 1 minute new high and it didn't break, that would have been a perfect candle to get short on, and then ride it down to a potential window of 760, 730, and 690. And then you see at the open, I'm going to go back into the other trade now. Actually, no, I'll use this quickly. And then you see at the open what happened. It absolutely tanked. There we go. You see it there. So these are our markers. You see it tried to make a push up to 790. It didn't, and it just tanked. And you see the body of the candle, the open is 730. Made this move down to this window. Let me come out a bit more. Oh, I hate. Let's try and use this. But you see here, pretty much it came all the way down. Once again, it almost touched this window, and it come all the way down to this window. So the lines in the daily chart are just showing sort of support and resistance. So it's really, really important, and you get a good visualization here. That's why I'm using it today. And we could have longed and shorted anywhere in this. One move that you could have done, I know people did, definitely would have done today, is washout long that we normally use. I said I was just a bit out of shape, a bit rusty still, so I wasn't really sure, but we see here we got the washout right down to, so the high was pretty much 790, it washed all the way down to 680. We could have got looked to get the pop, which we did. This went up back to 730. This then washed out again down to another 80 cents, down to 650, $0.50, which would have been a good little bounce back up to 720. And even on this one, once it done another washout, these are really risky, so you've got to be in and out very, very quick. But you see on each one of them, there, so here, and even not much this one, but and this one as well, we would have got the bounce. And yeah, that was sort of the reasoning for not going for long, seeing what's going to happen pre-market, and then now let's get into the actual trade. So based on that reasoning, I actually allocated shares to short. I'm not going to show you quickly, but you see how it says S here. The only reason I'm not going to go because I have to blur out my account information and it just takes ages. But you see here it now says short. If you go onto another stock like POAG, it will say no shares, and that's because you can probably locate them. Maybe not right now because people have taken them, but it would have said that. The only ones that really have shares to short that are easy to borrow, as shares like I was going to say Apple, but yeah, why is APPL? Okay, I don't know. Let's Tesla. Oh, that's got no short as well. Maybe can't. Why has Apple not come up? What's Amazon ZN? I don't know. I can't remember. Yeah, but you see here Amazon short easy because they're such big companies. They that's why it's APL. I knew it was something wrong, but you see here Apple, you can short it because they've got so many shares, so popular. They're easy to short, whereas like PLAG you can't. You have to locate them. So I located. So now you see it's available to short. I located 100 shares. And what happened was this. So I missed out my entry here. This was a very, very good entry for shorting. And this is what I'm learning. This is what I've been speaking to you about. Shorting kind of makes more sense using the daily support and resistance. And basically what happened here is we just got this absolutely crazy move. It bounced off 6. That sort of window, as we said, that I had before. You see here, made this crazy move, got halted once, made a crazy move again, got halted twice, and made a crazy move and got halted 3 times. So right, this right high of day here. And this is, so from a long perspective, each time you getting in the first halt was good, maybe even the second halt is okay, but each halt gets risky. It starts to overextend, it gets off the VWAP, and it just made this insane move, you know, basically $5.80 up to $10.80, so it made a $5 move. So my plan for this was I didn't want to trade 100 shares. I actually put in 25 shares to start with, and I thought, no, I will make it 50 shares. So my plan for this was to see at the open. So this is where it got this is where it halted, and then basically what I'm doing is using these lines again. So this body here, so body of that candle. Oh, actually no, sorry. I'm doing the close there. I'm doing the close there, and I'm doing. Yeah, I see it says halted there, but yeah, I'm doing the close there. So sort of, I'm just using these as indication and windows once again, and you'll see. So what happens is. It opens. I'm not looking to get in it straight away, but I want to see if it starts to flush down below and going into halt or anything. That was when I was looking to use that 1050 as now sort of a resistance level. What happened was it made this move up, so it got halted at basically $10. It moved up to $10.80, and in an absolute instant, I'm talking about 1 or 2 seconds, it flushed down to about 920 area, or 918, and I started to see it getting halted going down. So that was when I just pulled the trigger. It blew past where I actually wanted to get in. I wanted to get in around the $10 area, using that the $10, using that 1050 as sort of support. And it just blew straight past that. But I pulled the trigger. You see here all the history. I got in short 918, and if you look at the time here, 10:14, right there, and you see here 50 shares at 918. I then got in. It was a 10-minute halt. I was so nervous, and it opened up at 8:30. I can't remember exactly where it opened up, but I pretty much nailed the bottom of it. The bottom was right there around the 8:15 area, and I've sold it at 8:30, so pretty much nailed the bottom. And you see then bounced up, and it sort of was testing this this high there again. It has since broken, and now if you see this line that I drew here, this high day, this is now acting as resistance. So you see here it sort of can't break, and then it broke, sort of came all the way down. Had a little pop, but now it's sort of, this is acting as resistance. So you could probably look to short this down to sort of a net support window, but you'd have to use the daily. But yeah, that was basically my trade in a halt. Why did I get in? Just to sort of summarize again, because it made 1, 2, 3 halts going up. Basically, when you're a long bias trader, every halt, getting into a halt can be risky, but getting into a second halt or a third halt can be very, very risky. It's not to say it weren't risky getting in, looking to short the halt. Definitely, there's always risk in trading. But given the fact that it's made this massive move, given the fact that a lot of stocks have been selling off recently, given the previous history of this this stock in general, adding all them up together, that was why I took the trade. And I not overly happy with my entry, but then I kind of didn't have the opportunity to get in quick. I mean, I could have used the time and sales a bit better, because I started to see around the 1050 area, the 1080 area, loads of red coming through, and then it just flushed in a literally 1-2 seconds down to 920, and I see it getting halted. So, but really happy, as you see here. In open price 918, closed price short 43.51. So absolutely crazy move. And POAG, so there's some washout longs potential. There were some candles that you could have bought. POAG pretty much was just reacting. This was gapping up pre-market as well, and this was just acting similar to CLWT. So see, it made this really good move pre-market. At the open, just sold off, made the bounce, started to sell off again, and then it got halted once. A lot of this got halted the exact same time CLWT got halted, and CLWT instantly opened and got halted again for the second time. So I think that would have played a lot of people's minds that they were more confident buying out of the first halt, and obviously if you could buy into the first halt, but buying out of the first halt, hoping to get into the second halt. It didn't get halted, but as you see here, it made an absolute crazy move, and there was definitely some 1 minute candles to make a new high. Once again here, you see at the open, it sort of flushed down, had the pop back up, made another flush down, had a pop back up. We could have bought it. Where was good was you got this 1 minute pullback here. So we got this nice green candle. We get the pullback. We sort of get the nice wick here that shows a lot of buyers coming in here. We get the 1 minute candle make a new high right over this 450 area. That made a great move. So that was a really nice one. And then we got this pullback down to the. So we get this pullback down to the VWAP. We could have bought there, got in, and we got this nice pullback again. Not as close to the VWAP, but this certainly, these two entries here, this 1 minute candle making a new high after we're starting to see this bounce, and given the history of the market right now, these sort of stocks selling and bouncing, and then this second candle here. So definitely some momentum, lots of stocks going on, but not an easy day. As you see here now, it's all selling off, and it's just up and down, volatility at its best. But that is it for today's video. We're back. We've traded our first ever short. We made 87 cents. It is 87 cents, isn't it? Yeah, so that's 60. Yeah, 69. Yeah. So all good. So it cost me, to let you know, it cost me $3 to short to locate 100 shares. So the $3 plus the $2 ish from commissions, about $5 total cost. So we're up about 38 overall. And that is it for today's video. I'm going to go get some rest. I will get this uploaded, and I will see you again tomorrow. Take care. Bye bye.